Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only here with another exciting live stream. And in this video, I'm going to be looking at next week's brand new DC Digital First comics. In case you guys weren't aware, DC Comics recently started releasing brand new comics every day on their DC Digital First platform. So it's very easy to stay in tune with what's going on with DC Comics because you can just read one comic a day, which is only $1 a day, and know everything that's going on with these DC Digital First series. Which, by the way, with DC Digital First, we also are introduced to 7 brand new DC comic series. Yo, Godzilla, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? So this past week, we got to see the first issue of all these new DC series. And now this coming week, we're going to get the second issue of all these series. Yo, Volt, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Don't forget to smash that like button. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Volt said, yo, what's good? Godzilla said, writing vlog? I do plan on doing a writing vlog at some point. Godzilla said, yeah, they were eating it. He said, yeah, they were neat. I'm glad that you vibed with the issue ones of everything. Well, this week we're gonna get issue twos of everything. Volt said that's later. Godzilla said I liked the Flash. I'm glad that you vibed with the Flash one. Godzilla, you might. Well, Godzilla, you were there for the Swamp Thing one, I believe. What did you think of the Swamp Thing one? That was my second favorite of the past week. By the way, all the series from last week are getting issue twos this week, so hopefully we'll be able to see follow ups to a lot of the stories from last week, considering the fact that they're all the same series going on into this next one. Godzilla said, I think it was okay. Understandable. Volt said, I liked most of them, but Batman's felt a bit weak. Batman's was a bit weak. I gave it a D rank in my tier list video. But I think Wonder Woman Agent of Peace was actually like the weakest one from last week. I gave it a F rank on my tier list video. Let's see. So for each comic that's coming out next week, I'm going to tell you the title, the release date. I'm going to give you a short description of what the book is going to be about. Then I'm going to tell you how excited I am for the book, what my expectations are, and who I think I would recommend the book to based off of the description given. Godzilla said tier list. Yeah, I actually did a tier list video today where I took all the comics that came out this week for DC Digital First, all the brand new DC Digital First comics. And I did a tier list going from S plus tier all the way down to F tier. And I put a comic in each tier, and then I gave explanations for where I put each comic in the tier. So if you guys haven't seen the weekly comic book tier list video, it's on the channel. Feel free to check it out. Kratos said, wait, what comic was the worst one last week? Volt said Wonder Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman Agent of Peace was the worst one last week. Godzilla said, where is this tier list? You gotta check out the YouTube video. So on the YouTube video, I have like the full tier list. So check out the channel. It should be on the channel. Let's see. Kratos said, I'm outie. Okay. Thank you for tuning in, Kratos. It's good to see you, my guy. I hope to see you on the next stream. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to start up this stream and we're going to start going through all the descriptions. Godzilla said, where on the channel? I can't find it. And then Kratos said, it's not on the channel though. So hold on a second. Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Because everybody's telling me that these videos aren't up. But Volt was here for these videos though. Like I remember doing these videos and having people live. But you guys are right. I'm looking straight at the thing and it doesn't have any of the stuff. Kratos said also Wonder Woman was my favorite from last week. Did you did you read all 7 books from last week? Volt said actually yeah, YouTube does this thing where it uploads them late. Word? Oh my goodness. You guys may not have seen like a ton of videos, but I've been constantly doing videos today. Then Godzilla said it does not have it. So I looked at the channel page, and yeah, it's not on the channel. None of those videos are up on the channel page. Let me see if there's something going on. Godzilla said I would have been notified Wait, no, he said I would have been there if it notified me. I have been hearing people say that they haven't been getting notifications. Beth mentioned to me that she hasn't been getting notifications as well. But yeah, I've been like constantly streaming today with like new content, taking short breaks in order to get everything in. Volt said, look through your subscriptions and you will find them. Kratos said, I read the Batman one. So did you only read the Batman one and the Wonder Woman one? Those were literally the lowest two on the tier list. Those are actually the bottom of the tier list. That is the D and F tier. So it's interesting that you liked the Wonder Woman one more than the Batman one. Volt said, I've noticed this problem already for about a week. Kratos said, and based on your summaries for all of them, Wonder Woman was my favorite. Oh, wait, did you actually check out all the review videos, but then you only read Batman and Wonder Woman? That's interesting. Volt said they lag. Huh. Let's see. Godzilla said, I think Flash was S. Also, oh wait, I don't know why I'm moving the phone. I thought I had to click something behind the phone, and I just didn't have to click anything behind the phone. So Flash actually gave S plus tier. That was the best one, with Swamp Thing being S tier behind that. Kratos said that Wonder Woman one is single-handedly getting me into comics. You're giving that Wonder Woman one a lot of credit. I did not think it was that good. I'm glad that it's getting you into comics. Like I'm glad it got you really hyped. Um, yeah, there's just upload lag. That is really crazy. But all those videos, I see them like in my YouTube studio. They just aren't up yet, I guess. What's probably happening is because I'm making so many, like one after another, my phone is probably trying to like finish uploading all of them all at once. And that's probably going to cause some upload lag. So trust me, all the videos I've made today will appear. But I guess if you're not seeing them live, it's going to be a minute before you guys actually see them hit the channel. But that's YouTube's problem. The YouTube's fucking up on that. Godzilla said S plus, I agree. Then Volt said 1,000 punches at 1/1000th of a second. Yeah, that Flash comic was very hype. I do agree. So let's look at next week's comics. As we go through, I'm gonna. Well, you guys will know the format. I think I said the format earlier, but let's just jump right on in. So Superman, Man of Tomorrow, #2. This is going to be released tomorrow, April 27th, 2020, and you can buy it right now for $1. If you guys want to pick up any of these books that are coming out next week, by the way, if you go into the description box below, I actually have Amazon affiliate links for all the books coming out next week. So if you click on those links and buy the books on Amazon through those links, not only are you going to be able to read all these books for yourselves, but you'll also be supporting the channel because we actually get like a cut of the purchase. So if like you guys buy Superman Man of Tomorrow #2 for like $1, we'll make like 4 cents or whatever to help out the channel, which I know doesn't sound like that much, but the more people who do buy the books, the more help it actually offers. You'd be surprised how that 4 cents is actually probably more than I'll make on like ads for the video. Like believe it or not. So yeah, definitely, if you guys want to check out any of these books, all those options are available in the description. Let me check the live chat real quick. Kratos said, I just realized you can sort videos on your channel by oldest to newest. You can indeed. Volt said, nah, it's a YouTube problem. Most live streams do that for some reason. Interesting. Kratos said, your first ever video is called Sock Episode 1. It is indeed. I made a little skit with like a sock monkey, with a sock monkey or whatever. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like years since my first video. Kratos said, I'm interested. Feel free to check it out. It's going to be like very, very old, low quality on my first camera. Kratos said, 11 years. Volt said, I must learn of this sock. Okay, I'm glad that you guys are hyped to check out the first video. Godzilla said his most viewed video has 70,000 likes. Is that the Static Shock video I made? I made a video about how Static Shock's in Young Justice, and for some reason that video blew up. People seem to really like it. Oh, but we're like 9 minutes in, and I haven't even started talking about the comics coming out next week. I'm gonna jump into that. So, Superman Man of Tomorrow #2 is going to be coming out tomorrow on April 27th, 2020, and it's going to be available for $1. Here's the description for the book. Someone is running bets on Superman's exploits throughout Metropolis and putting ordinary citizens in harm's way. Can Superman locate this villainous gambler in time, or will the house take all? Interesting. Okay. I don't know who this villainous gambler is who'd be betting on Superman's exploits and putting people in harm's way, but if I had to guess who it was, I'd guess it's Mr. Mixelplix. Because Mr. Mixelplix is more or less like a magical imp from the fifth dimension, and he's always like, oh, Superman's the greatest and Superman can do anything. And I could see him being like, I bet Superman could save a baby from falling in a volcano while being attacked by parademons. And then he could like make that happen. And then Superman's like, oh shit, I gotta save a baby from falling in a volcano from parademons or whatever. So I could see that happening. Godzilla in the live chat said, yeah. Kratos said it's Two-Face. You think Two-Face would be gambling on whether or not Superman would be able to save people in Metropolis? I know Two-Face is all about like dualities and like coin flips and chance, but I'm not sure if he would straight up do like gambling on whether or not Superman would save the day. But that's an interesting theory. And it is interesting whenever they take villains from different heroes and they make them interact with heroes they wouldn't normally. So, Two Face is an interesting theory. Uh, the Mr. Mistleplex theory, you guys can decide whether or not that's interesting. I don't know. Um, but I'm not sure who would gamble. I'm trying to think of villains who gamble. Let's see. Godzilla said, Nick, we need a remake. You mean like a remake of like the sock thing? Volt said, but his weakness is his name backwards. True, Mr. Mixelplix, if you make him say his name backwards, he'll return to the fifth dimension. And in the Supergirl TV show, they were like, if you have a recording of him saying his name backwards, you can play the recording and it'll force him to go back to the fifth dimension. So you only ever need him to say it once, and then you can always play the recording again, which I thought was interesting. Godzilla says he wants a remake of Sock Episode 1. I'm not sure if I could do that. Like, I don't think I have all that stuff. Volt said, how terrifying. Kratos said, I agree. It'd be interesting. He said, I like seeing crossovers like that. He said, that's part of why I liked the Wonder Woman comic, because I really liked the dynamic of the two. So you were a big fan of Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman teaming up. I think Wonder Woman Agent of Peace might straight up be a team book, so you might really dig it. We'll have to see. We haven't gotten to the description of Agent of Peace number 2 yet. Then Kratos said, yes. So let me click on Batman Gotham Knights issue 2, and let's go over that. Oh, I didn't say who I'd recommend the book to. I just kind of speculated on the Superman book. So the Superman book, how excited am I? The main thing I want to know about the Superman book is who the villain is, and I hope that there's like really cool stuff that happens that Superman has to deal with. Like, I hope that the gambles aren't boring. Like, can Superman stop a train? Or can Superman do some other obvious stuff that Superman could do? I want it to be like kind of like crazy, and maybe crimes are happening all over Metropolis and the bets are really high stakes, and maybe we see a bunch of villains betting on different Superman exploits and stuff. Like, I want the stuff like the baby being dropped in the volcano with the parademon stuff. Like, do that. So if the book is really crazy and off the walls and exciting and features a lot of colorful characters betting on Superman events, what if Superman has to fight like 5 or 6 different villains at the same time? Like, stuff like that. That's what I'd be hyped for. Who would I recommend the book to? Based on the little bit that we know of, I guess Superman fans. And I guess anyone who's curious enough about who the villain is. Because those are the only real hooks right now. They don't have anything else in that description to make me like, you know what I mean? Kratos said, if there are more comics with those two teaming up, I would love that. So Kratos is specifically like, I like the Wonder Woman Harley Quinn team up, and he's like, I want more Wonder Woman Harley Quinn team up stuff. Godzilla said, Nick, I'm hooked. Uh, you're hooked on the Superman before, and then he said, "Okay, I'm trying to see if I can fix whatever the stream lag thing is." And then Godzilla corrected to Sock episode 2. Yeah, it looks like the stream's freezing up, at least for me. What the fuck is happening? Let's see, Godzilla said, what the fuck? Volt said, honestly, Superman hasn't struck me as the most interesting of characters. It's more interesting to see the darker versions of a story like this. Also, now it's just showing the other camera's perspective. I'm gonna try and fix the stream while I read out what you guys are saying in the live chat. Hey, that looks fixed. That looks not laggy. Let's see. Volt said it's more interesting to see the darker versions of a story like this. Well, maybe the series will continue to get darker as it continues. We'll see. Let's see. Kratos said, I'm just a huge fan of villains becoming anti heroes. He said, that's why I love Agent Venom. And that's probably why you also love writing anti hero characters. By the way, Kratos, check volume 4 of Heart of Heroes. I've been making so many new characters. I wrote like a whole sequel story following Ejat after the AI Dungeon 2 adventure. Kratos has the ability to see all this stuff ahead of time before I talk about it. Check some of that stuff out. Check it out. And don't worry, I will do a writing vlog at some point. Godzilla said it just did the bad. Hopefully it's better now. Hopefully things are flowing well. Kratos said, oh shit, yeah, let me check that out. He said Nick turned invisible. Then Godzilla said, eighth to lack. Okay, now let's talk about the next comic that is coming out next week. So Batman Gotham Knights issue number 2 is going to be available on April 28th, 2020. That's next Tuesday for $1. And here's the description for that book. It's a mad dash as Batman races to stop a murderous plan. But when the villain is revealed to be in two places at once and the victim turns out not so innocent, Batman must make the ultimate choice in a fight against Clayface. So I actually really like this description compared to the Superman one. The Superman one is like, can Superman do all this crazy stuff? Can he discover who the gambler is? Find out. Da-na-na-na. But you don't know like what the bets are for the Superman one, which I think makes it a little less interesting. And the only real intrigue is not knowing the villain. The Batman description is like part of the intrigue is that you do know the villain. You're like, oh, how's Batman gonna beat Clayface? And it keeps freezing. I'm sorry to see that it's lagging so hard. I don't know why it's doing that. But I'm excited to see Batman have to deal with the villain being in two places at once. Because Clayface can split his body into, and I'm not sure if I've ever read a Clayface story about him splitting into clones. Guys, this is crazy. Volume 4, too. Description gives too much that the villain victim isn't surprise thing. Um, and it also reveals that Clayface is the villain. I don't know. I think though that's just enough details to make it interesting, though. Maybe the victim being not so innocent is something that it didn't have to reveal. But I do think the villain in two places at once is good. I like that one actually. Um, let's see. Godzilla said, "Nick, your internet is garbage, garboni." Kratos said, "I feel like the victim part is a good twist that they're spoiling." Understandable. I kind of agree with where you're coming from. Like they could have stopped at the bad guys in two places at once thing. But I guess what they're trying to convey is that in Batman Gotham Knights issue number 2, um, it's going to be like morally gray. Like the good and bad guys aren't going to be as clear cut because maybe the victim is actually a worse bad guy than the main villain. It could be something like that. Also, I have a feeling that Clayface isn't going to be the main villain, now that I think about it. Because they mention that it's revealed that the villain is in two places at once. And in the Batman Arkham games, Clayface has pretended to be other villains to trick Batman before. So maybe the main villain of the book won't be Clayface, but it'll be revealed that one of them is Clayface and the other one is actually the real villain. Which makes me curious, is Clayface the main villain? Is there going to be a different villain? Who's the victim? Is the victim going to be another villain? Are they going to be like a big name DC character? What are the multiple? Let's know where you're coming from with that. Beth said, same. Yo, Beth, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Kratos said, I think so too. And then he said, it's Two-Face. Kratos thinks every villain to every book coming out next week is Two-Face. Godzilla said, guys, we know who the villain is. Kaylee said, hey, yo, Kaylee, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics to talk about on the stream? And then Godzilla said, remember Wonder Woman? That comic? Yes, I do remember the Wonder Woman comic. Are you trying to say that the villain for Batman Gotham Knights #2 is going to be like Red Ball or something? Godzilla said it's going to be that freelancer. For one, I would love to see them use Red Ball in a story again. I love the idea of him opening portals to random dimensions and being able to summon monsters from them in order to like attack and kill people everywhere. At the same time, Red Ball's not going to be. Let's see. Volt said it's all Two Face. He said that'd be an interesting twist. I do think it would be cool if for 1 week the villain of every comic that came out was the same villain. I think stuff like that has happened before, but maybe not for the new DC Digital First comics though. Let's see. Kaylee said Wonder Woman, more like bamboozled bitch. Roasted. Oh. Godzilla said George the Hungry, more like Gregory the Thirsty. Roasted. Oh. Let's see. But for Batman Gotham Knights #2, I'm interested in all these unanswered questions that are in the description. Comparing it to the description of Superman Man of Tomorrow #2, I'm way more interested in Batman Gotham Knights #2, so I'm more hyped for that. I would recommend it to anyone who's into Batman stories. I also would recommend it to anyone who's into more over the top stories because Batman Gotham Knights #1 I didn't like because it was so grounded to the point where the second half of it isn't even a the second half of it isn't even a superhero story or a Batman story. It was just a war story. This one sounds like it's going to be off the walls. It's going to have villains in multiple places. It's going to have Clayface's shapeshifting head ass. It's going to have a bunch of cool stuff in it. So I'm hoping that it ups the ante from Batman Gotham Knights #1. Batman Gotham Knights #1 was like a D tier comic, but I think the description of #2 sounds like it could be an S tier comic potentially. So I'm kind of hyped for that. Kaylee said, lol. Kratos said, I think it'd be cool if the villain for each comic for the whole week was Clayface. Ooh! And that works a little bit better because Clayface can pretend to be anybody. He's an actor, so not only can he shapeshift to look like different characters, but he can imitate different characters. And with his clay, he could probably imitate their abilities too. So I do think it would be cool if Clayface was like the villain for a whole week. It would work rather well, and it could still be a surprise that Clayface is the villain for each comic. It's nice. Godzilla said, I think they need to get rid of one of the stories. Interesting. Do you mean like get rid of one of the series? Which of the series would you want them to get rid of? If they had to, because currently they have 7. If they had to get rid of one of the 7 series, which would you pick and why? I'd pick Wonder Woman Agent of Peace because the issue for each said and make a King Shark comics. I pitched an idea for a team book called Monster Mash that would be Swamp Thing and King Shark working together to take down big corporations that are hurting the environment. Let's see. Beth said, please tell me that Batman book will be good. Batman Gotham Knights #2, I hope so. It seems hype. It seems like it's going to be better than #1, but I don't know yet. Let's see. Beth said is at F tier. So it may not be S tier directly. It depends on if S tier is the lowest tier. Like if the lowest tier is shit tier, then D tier does sound like ass tier. Let's see. Beth said, also, hey, Kaylee, how's the guitar going? Then Kratos said, yeah. Kaylee said, good. I've been playing nearly all day. Oh, ballin'. I'm glad to hear that's going well, Kaylee. Beth said, at Kaylee, do you have my voodoo doll? If so, can you please make it practice the ocarina? Lol. Godzilla said, Swamp Thing slash Wonder Woman to King Shark. Oh, so Godzilla want to get rid of Swamp Thing? Swamp Thing is pretty good. I gave that the S rank in my weekly comic tier list. I wouldn't want them to get Swamp Thing. Get rid of Wonder Woman. I know that Kratos would disagree with me on the get rid of Wonder Woman thing, but I didn't really like her book that much. Let's see. Kaylee said, I do have a voodoo doll in my closet. I'll call it Beth and give it an ocarina. Beth said, thanks, girl, lol. Also, want to do Evanescence covers sometime? She said, bring me to life for sure, because it's how we feel, at Kaylee. Godzilla said, I think that Swamp Thing is okay. Kratos said, I agree that I disagree. Kaylee said, I'm gonna look up some Evanescence songs. And then she put like a excited face. Godzilla said, but like, there can only be one monster. Well, that's why I was like, it'd be cool if King Shark and Swamp Thing were on a team together. Uh, that Monster Mash book idea that I had, I think would be pretty cool. Let's see. Kaylee said, ew, that emoji. You're the one who put it. You're the one who put the emoji. Volt said, by the gods of the Wi Fi, please. Yeah, I'm sorry about these internet connection issues. I'm actually using data instead of Wi Fi because normally data works out better. So fingers crossed. I would try to change it to Wi Fi, but I think that would actually make it worse. Not gonna lie. Let's see. Godzilla said, you mean this one? Kaylee said, nah, I put and it made it ugly. And then Godzilla just keeps putting the emoji. Oh goodness, it makes the emoji even weirder on my phone compared to on my computer. Kaylee said, Godzilla, no. Let's see. But who would I recommend this Batman book to? I'd recommend it to anyone who's interested in all of the little hooks that are in the description. And anyone who's into Batman stories in general. And anyone who's a fan of a Clayface book. And I guess also anyone who's a fan of mysteries in general. The first two books that are going to come out next week are both mysteries. So I think that'll be cool. Godzilla said, every time you mention something about Wonder Woman. Interesting. Guys? 'Cause I don't know if you guys are actually missing those parts where it freezes. Do I just look frozen during those parts? Or can you still hear everything I'm saying when it freezes? Let's see. Kratos said C. Walt said Wonder Woman was trash. Godzilla said is the Chinese government. Kaylee put a bunch of emojis. Let's see. Beth said Wonder Woman needs better execution. Same. Kratos said, nah, everything freezes. Okay, so everything freezes, but you guys can still hear me. That's good. So it's just a visual thing. I mean, this is a podcast for the most part, anyways. Let's see. Volt said, nah, I can't hear shit when it happens. Oh, wait, you guys can't hear me when it happens? No. No, that sucks. Were you guys able to hear the descriptions for the comics at least? Kratos said, no, it's audio too. Ah. Ah. Have you guys been able to hear my thoughts on anything? So far? I imagine so, because we've been able to talk about stuff at the very least. Volt said, I heard most of it. Okay, cool. Hopefully, it's not as jank once it's uploaded. Fingers crossed. So we've covered Superman Man of Tomorrow #1, and we've covered Superman of Tomorrow #2, and we've covered Batman Gotham Knights #2. Now it's time to check out Wonder Woman Agent of Peace issue #2. This is probably going to be what your boy Kratos is the most hype for, even though this book is not very good. Kratos, you should have read the Flash comic, and you should have read the Swamp Thing comic. Those are like the best two from last week. Godzilla said, die, die, die. Kaylee has an emoji with a knife. Kratos said, Deadbolt said, die, question mark? Okay. So, I clicked on the wrong link to look at the Wonder Woman one. My bad. I need to click the link that had like all the information on it. Here we go. So Wonder Woman Agent of Peace issue number 2 is going to be available on April 29th, 2020 for $1. Again, if you guys want to pick up any of these books, you can find the links in the description box below. Books not only will allow you to read these books, but will also help out. Piece number 2 rescue Lois Lane on an expedition to the Lois is hot on the trail of a missing group of female climbers who are hoping to conquer the peak. But what dangers lurk in K2's snow-covered caverns? And can Princess Diana keep the Daily Planet's intrepid reporter safe? Interesting. So it's going to be a Lois Lane Wonder Woman team-up book, and it seems like Wonder Woman, based on the cover and the description, is going to be fighting Yetis. So that's kind of cool. I can't get upset with that. So Wonder Woman versus Yetis with Lois Lane. Yeah, I guess that'll be alright. I'm not, but I'm fine with seeing thing. I don't know why it would be a team up with Lois Lane, because Lois Lane can't fight. She's literally just there to be saved by Wonder Woman. Um, so that's the only gross part. It should have been like Wonder Woman and Ice travel to like these snowy mountains to save a group of like female climbers. Like they could keep everything but the Lois Lane part because Ice is a female DC superhero who has ice abilities. That or Killer Frost. It could have been like Wonder Woman and Killer Frost work together to fight Yetis to save female climbers. That would have been cool. Having her team up with Lois is like one of the lamest like female characters they could have teamed Wonder Woman up with because Lois Lane is a reporter. She's just gonna get in danger and she's gonna get saved, which Superman already does that in his comic. I don't need it in Wonder Woman's comic. So that's kind of lame. I don't know why. Let's see. Let's see. Godzilla said, lol. Beth said at Kratos, can you try using a Yu-Gi-Oh spell card that will give me motivation to practice the ocarina? The voodoo doll isn't working for some reason. Volt said, can we skip Wonder Woman? He didn't even say can we. He said we can skip Wonder Woman. That's pretty good. Godzilla said, can we skip Wonder Woman? He said, I want to do a writing vlog instead. Kratos said, bet. 1 sec. Volt said, ew, I don't like that. Kaylee said, Yeti's about to be Yetis. Volt, Beth said the Chinese are censoring Nick. Volt said Nick's been hacked. Illuminati confirmed. Godzilla said no, it's the Chinese. Or no. Is. I don't know if you heard any of that. So I changed it to Wi-Fi should now be connected. So are we good? Is the connection better? Let's see. Godzilla said I did not. And then Godzilla said, Nick, your Wi-Fi is Garboni. He said, or you're being heavily censored. Kaylee said, rest in peace. And Godzilla said, yo, they assassinated him. No. So now I have the Wi-Fi on. Godzilla said, not really. Well, the Wi-Fi just started up. So hopefully, from this point forward, better. To be honest, I'm not super hype about the Wonder Woman book. I'd recommend it to anyone who's into Yetis, Wonder Woman fighting monsters, anyone who's into Lois Lane stories, anyone who are fans of Wonder Woman in general. Volt said, oh dear God, I see him. But let's get past this Wonder Woman book and let's move forward to the Aquaman book. Because I enjoyed Aquaman. I think I said that Aquaman was like B tier or something like that. Like it wasn't bad. Let's see, Godzilla said monster abuse. Also, I'm sorry about the weird quality issues that have happened throughout this stream. I don't know what's going on with it. So Aquaman Deep Dives number 2 is going to be coming out April 30th, 2020. It's going to be available for $1. If you guys want to check out the book, links in the description box below. Um, and April 30th, 2020 is going to be Wednesday. No, Thursday. This is going to be the Thursday book. But here's the description. Aquaman and the Sea Devils team up to stop a group of polluters and a radioactive creature from the deep. I don't know who the Sea Devils are. but the picture, like on the cover, isn't showing like superpowered people. They might be like a GI Joe style team, but like the Navy, and they're gonna be teaming up with Aquaman to fight radioactive sea monsters. So that could be cool. That could actually work out. Let's see. Ryan said hello. Volt said the FBI in your phone. Godzilla said AFK. Volt said AFK? Question mark. Oh no, is it still doing the freeze? It might still be doing the freeze thing. Oh gosh. Also, yo Ryan, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics I can talk about on this stream? Let's see. Ryan said the FBI would only care about spying on Jet if he was trying to liberate POC, people of color. I didn't at first know what you were saying. Volt said, "No, it's not as bad. I'm glad it's not as bad, but I'm sorry to hear that it's like an issue." Um, let's see. For the Aquaman book, I guess I'd be more excited if I knew who the fuck the Sea Devils were. You know, they sound like a sports team, but I don't know who the Sea Devils are in order to get hype for them. Godzilla said, "Back, welcome back, Godzilla." Okay, so the Sea Devils are like an established team in DC Comics. I've just never heard of them. What are they? They look like they're scuba divers. They're scuba divers, and they normally deal with sea monsters. It looks like they're a team of conventional. I don't know if it's better to be on Wi-Fi or not. It's like a like a Marvel event, Monsters Unleashed, or the sequel, Monsters Unleashed 2. Godzilla said all those strange beasts are being endangered. Let's see. I mean, that could be an interesting story if they decided to go that route at some point. I'd recommend the Aquaman book to anyone who's a fan of Aquaman, sea monsters, and the Sea Devils. If you happen to know about that team, because they seem kind of obscure. Uh, so yeah, those are my recommendations for the Aquaman book. Volt put up some binary code. Next up, we got Flash, Fastest Man Alive, #2. Kratos said, okay, gotta go. See you later. Ooh, catch you later, Kratos. Thank you for tuning in. It's good to have you. I hope to see you on the next stream. Volt said, that says subscribe to Nika Benson. Oh, ballin'. Thank you kindly, Volt, communicating to the robots out there. Let's see. So, Flash, Fastest Man Alive, #2. This book is going to be available on May 1st, 2020. And it's going to come out next Friday, and it'll be available for $1. Here's the description for Flash Fastest Man Alive #2. A time traveling soldier arrives in Central City, and her mission is to kill the fastest man alive. But what is it that the Flash did or will do to destroy her world? And is there a way he can prevent it without dying? Okay, that's kind of cool. That's actually the coolest one so far, I think, premise wise. Like, the Superman one and the Batman one kind of set up mysteries. The Wonder Woman one is, I don't know, it seems kind of weird that she's teaming up with Lois Lane. The Aquaman one seems like a very obscure team up. Like, I don't know why you team up with the Sea Devils out of anybody you could have teamed up with. But Flash Fastest Man Alive is straight up the Flash fighting a time traveling assassin and trying to fix an apocalyptic future that, like, he caused. That sounds cool to me. That sounds great. That's the like most exciting description of the whole week's comics so far. Godzilla said, "Okay, there is a way. You get King Shark and King." And Volt said, "No, no, no." Ooh, it keeps freezing. If you're into time travel stories, if you're into Flash stories, uh, if you're into like all out brawls, like where the comic is like about a fight, then I would definitely recommend Flash Fastest Man Alive #2. Let's see, Godzilla said yes, yes, yes. Volt said at Godzilla question, do you lewd the lolly? And then Godzilla said, what the fuck? And then Volt said lolly. And then he corrected it to lol. He lewd the lol. Let's see. So now we've gone over Flash Fastest Man Alive #2. I've given my recommendations and shown my excitement about it. Now it's time for the last two books that are going to come out next week, and those last two books are going to be DC Superhero Girls and Swamp Thing. So let me get to Swamp Thing's link. Well, not Swamp Thing, sorry. It's not Swamp Thing's turn yet. Next, let's look at the. So, next week on May 2nd, 2020, we're going to see DC Superhero Girls Infinite Frenemies issue number 2. It's going to be available for $1. And here's the description. It's time for the greatest teenage tradition of them all, the school formal. But when Livewire attacks and sets everyone's toes a tapping, the girls will have to put on their dancing shoes to save the day. So it's going to be the DC superhero girls dealing with like teenage dance anxiety stuff, I imagine. I imagine one of them will be like, I don't know how to dance. And one of them will probably be like, oh, I'm gonna ask out this dude. No. Like, I could see them doing some interesting teen drama stuff. And I think, like, all those characters fight electricity powers. Electricity powers aren't cool. But it's like one villain. So I don't know exactly how that's gonna go. Like Livewire's probably gonna have to get like a big wank to be like strong enough to fight them. Volt said, "Ooh," he said this was the worst comic to me. He said I can't get into stuff like this. I mean, they're trying to make like a book that's supposed to be more all ages, that appeals to like young girls, and it's supposed to be like a it appeals to teen issues while also being a superhero book. I definitely get why you may not vibe with it. Last week, I thought the DC Superhero Girls was middle of the road. It was like C tier. I wouldn't say it was bad, but it wasn't particularly good. I would argue that the DC Superhero Girls stories seem pretty standard, to be honest, but the art style is made definitely to appeal to younger audiences, and I think that's what turns a lot of people off. I think if they drew the DC Superhero Girls book the same way they draw all the other DC Comics books, and if the title wasn't as girly, like if it was just called like the one what it's about, you know what I mean? Also, I don't know if you guys heard any of that because it keeps freezing. Godzilla said, I think it is more for like a younger audience. It is. Volt said, best ones were Aquaman, Flash, and Swamp Thing. Understandable. Aquaman, Flash, and Swamp. Was that my top three as well? Was also my top three. So I think I'm with you on that. Let's see. Volt said, I get it, but those girls are watching the TV show. So I mean, the TV show's not really that bad. Ryan really likes the TV show. Beth and I have watched a few episodes of the TV show. It's not the worst thing in the world. Similar to the comic, I would say the TV show's kind of middle of the road. It's not like the worst thing ever, but it's also not the best thing ever. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. You know what I mean? But I'll watch it with Beth, and we enjoy it like together. And Ryan seems to really like it. But let's see. Volt said it's weird to make a comic and a show that are basically the same thing at the same time. He said, at least to me. Well, it appeals to different audiences. Like, some people will like the comic but not like the show. Or read comics. So it depends. You know what I mean? And some people will like their day about DC Superhero Girls being the only like younger audience book that DC is publishing right now. Because I'm like, this is actually pretty significant. Like, not only is it the only like younger audiences book, it's also the only team book. We didn't get a Justice League book or something. This is the only book that's coming out right now, like period, that's a team superhero book. And I feel like that's going to help build its popularity. So I think that's going to be interesting. Let's see. Godzilla said, Nick, the Wi Fi is still Garboni. He said it's still freezing. And he said the audio is still also freezing. He says it's Garboni. It's Garbaggio. And I apologize for that. These connection issues are really annoying, and hopefully, the connection issues. Uh, hopefully, the connection issues will but I don't know if they. At least we're now up to the final book, so maybe that'll help out. Also, which was worse, when I was on data or when I'm on Wi-Fi? Because if the Wi-Fi is worse, I could always switch back to data. I think data was worse. If data is worse, then I'll stick with that's going to be coming out next week, 1 week from now. Will be available on May 3rd, 2020 for $1. It's called Swamp Thing New Roots number 2. So Swamp Thing New Roots issue number 2. Swamp Thing scours the bayou when an old friend goes missing, but all the while an unexpected enemy is coming for Swamp Thing himself. So this one's pretty vague in its description, but I'm curious to see who's Swamp Thing's friend, like who are they talking about, and who is the unexpected enemy. But I really liked Swamp Thing this week. I imagine I'm gonna really like Swamp Thing next week. Um, but I would say the top 3 books coming out next week that I'm most excited for, the Flash comic for sure. The Flash comic has a really cool premise behind it, and I want to see how he deals with that time traveling assassin. Um, Also, I'd recommend the Swamp Thing book to people who are fans of Swamp Thing. That's like a clear recommendation. Anyways, the Flash comic I'm really hyped for. After that, I guess I'm hyped for the Superman comic, believe it or not. I want to know who the gambler is, and I want to know what crazy bets are being placed on like Superman's abilities. Because the comic sounds like a gauntlet of Superman passing like a bunch of different tests. So that's going to be cool. And then the next comic that I'm most hyped for coming out next week is probably Batman. The Batman book this week was very disappointing, but the Batman book that's scheduled for next week actually seems like it'll be kind of cool because there's a lot of mystery going on. Batman's fighting like an actual supervillain this time. Like it might just be good. So the comics I'm most hyped for are Flash, Superman, and Batman. And Superman and Batman are coming out at the beginning of the week, so that's gonna be dope. Fingers crossed. Ryan said Swamp Thing, New Groots. That made me think of The Emperor's New Groove and Guardians of the Galaxy. Godzilla said, I am Groot, quote Swamp Thing. But that's next week's brand new comics. If any of those sound interesting to you and you want to pick them up, definitely go into the description box below. I have links to all of these comics where you'll be able to buy them. And not only will you be able to buy them using those links, but by doing so, you'll be helping out the channel. So I'd highly appreciate it if you guys did. I apologize for the internet quality and the patchy choppiness of the stream. Hopefully, future streams won't have these issues. But I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring the notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. There's your host, your friend, your boy, Chub Life One Only, logging out. Godzilla said, I am interested with the writing vlog. He said, give us the vlog. He said, we like writing vlogs. I got you. Hopefully, we'll be able to do a writing vlog later tonight. I do plan to do a writing vlog later tonight, and hopefully, we won't be having these internet issues. So stay tuned for more content. Peace.